I know we missed a week. We were actually away for a week in Mexico, and it's the first trip that we actually had with our baby. So it was really exciting, really fun. And so now we're back with the question, how do I keep my partner happy? Now, many of you might know me. I've been writing for the Huffington Post for 2 years. I'm also on the morning show in California, Channel 5, where I do Balanced Life segments. And now, just recently, I'm in a 4-book deal with Harlequin, and all books out at the same time. And I've got 4 months to write them all. So it's going to be pretty nutty the next number of months. And so here we go. Let's start. So how do you keep your partner happy? Now, I was thinking about what to talk about today because there's so many things that I could talk about, and I wanted to take some kind of just some unusual tips today. So let's start with kind of, okay, how does your partner process information? Some people are more visual, some people are more auditory, and some people are more kinesthetic. So your primary sense could be one of the three. Of course, there's taste and smell, but that usually isn't our primary sense. Now, my primary sense happens to be that I'm very kinesthetic, so I'm very tactile, always touching people. That's a big part of my nature. I like to be touched. Whereas some of you might be somebody who loves listening to music. You love, your main sense is auditory. You hear noises quick, sort of all the time. You can tell the difference between sounds. And some of you might be very visual, so your primary sense would be that you see first and then you hear. So you'll see something, and if you were blindfolded, you wouldn't be able to hear as well. No, okay, no, that I'm going up the wrong tree. What I meant was that you're much more visual, so you process information through visual means. So when you understand what your partner's main sensory sense is, you can appeal to that by make them happy through giving to them in that specific way. So for example, if they're very auditory, then you might want to whisper sweet nothings in their ear. You might want to tell them, I love you a lot. You might want to say, you look beautiful. Or there are a number of different things that you would use language to make them happy. Okay, so think about that. Then if they're more visual, you'd perhaps buy them flowers, something that shows them visually that you love them. So you might buy them a present, buy them flowers, etc. And if they're more tactile, then you might want to rub their feet. You might want to hold their hand all the time. You might want to cuddle them a lot. And once you understand what their primary mode is, then you will understand that is how you need to appeal to them. Now, yours might be totally different. So, for example, I'm very tactile. I like to be touched, hug, my hand held. I like to have my feet rubbed. My husband's very auditory. He listens to a lot of music. He knows the difference between sounds. He's an incredibly auditory. So I tell him I love him. I tell him how great he looks. A lot of it is through language that I appeal to him. And we have different modes. If he did that with me, it would be less appealing to me than him holding my hand or hugging me, touching me, rubbing my feet. Do you understand what I'm saying? If anyone's got any questions about that, but you need to start tuning in to what your partner is. So for example, this is one way you can find out. Listen to their language. I feel great today, which means that if they use language that is feeling, touching, then you know that they're more feeling. If they say things like, I see what you mean, then you know that they're more visual. Or I hear what you're saying. That means they're more auditory. So Dan has asked, hi Dan, I hope you're doing really well. And how can we stay happy and emotionally close while in a long distance relationship? Well, I think it's quite easy actually. You're asking the right person because I started with my husband long distance. And so I think you speak on the phone quite a bit. You obviously now there's, Skyping. Excuse me, I'm drinking. I wouldn't suggest you drink out of plastic, by the way, but anyway, that's for another occasion. But we'll stick to relationships today. So, I think that you need to make sure that you do see each other if you can at least within every 3 weeks, because when in a long-term relationship, it seems to be that 10 days people tend to be okay with 10 days, and then it starts to drag on and it gets harder and harder. And 3 weeks, I tend to believe, is the maximum if you can possibly see each other every 3 weeks. That is really ideal. It's from Peter Weston. Hi Peter, hope you're doing really well. Very happy to see you. Okay, or hear from you, I should say, but to see that you're here. Okay, that was very visual, by the way. I said to see you. Noticed how visual that was with the language I use. So what about making yourself happy? This is what Peter says, rather than waiting for your partner to make you happy. This is a great, I'm so glad you brought this up, Peter, because you have to be filled up. You have to be whole and complete and come together whole and complete. If you're not, you're in for a real problem, because no one and nothing outside of you can fill you up. Only you can be filled up, and then you're with the person. So here we go from Cassandra. Hi Cassandra, I hope you're doing really well today. If my fiance has a video game addiction, do I talk to him about it? Yeah, if it doesn't make you happy, it would drive me absolutely mad. I've actually banned video games from my house. But what I would do is, if you are with somebody who's really addicted to it, I would say that you come to an agreement when he can when you feel comfortable for him to play it and when is not comfortable for you. And if he isn't someone who's going to give it up at all, and you have to take him as he is, I would say that you say, okay, come to an agreement, say, look, can you do it between this time and this time? I just, what is it? Is it that you feel cut off that he's playing on video games? What is it that makes you angry about him playing video games? Listen, I sympathize with you. It's something that it drives me mad. It feels like it's a waste of life. I don't know, to me it's like a wasting time and precious life, that you can do so many amazing things with. So if you can come to agreement and he's not about to give them up, just say, look, can we come to agreement of how much you play and when you play, and let's come to an agreement on that. And I think you need to talk to him about it, that it's something that kind of upsets you. So see what you can do on that front. I hope that helps you. Magazines, okay? Because you'll find out more about the opposite sex from what they read. So that's it for this week, guys. Thank you very, very much for coming. You can contact me on howhappyis.com anytime you want. And also remember to go to the living section. There's a great article on yoga this week, and there's some other great articles. And if you want to contact me, please do anytime, and I really look forward to seeing you all next week. And thank you very, very much for coming.